Hey guys, welcome back to the Fair Income Podcast. My name is Barisa. I'm normally behind the scenes. Today, I sat down on the couch with Ashraf and Ali as we touched on our short-term and long-term goals and what we want to achieve before we reach the age of 30. We spoke about our perspective on life from our mid-20s to 30 compared to our early 20s. We also spoke about new initiatives that we plan to start. You're really going to enjoy this episode. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Speak to people, man. I have so many friends who are in their 30s. And they tell me, bro, once you reach 30, it's like you can't play soccer anymore without getting injured. Like you're getting a new joint injury or this or that every week, you know? Yeah. So it's like really look into your 30s and say, all right, what are things that I can do now that weren't...
I think sustaining peak health is easier than achieving it. But for me, like before 30, I think Quran and Arabic will be a good focus. Then after that, you can prioritize other things. Like you have those periods of life. But sometimes when something's so vague or so big, you just delay it, you know?
Fair income.
I reckon we can still start with the same thing.
Okay.
You know? One thing with me about to turn 25, you know, I'm starting to recall I'm thinking I'm not in my early 20s. People like you guys were saying before that when you hit 25, you do have a mind shift switch. And that's what I'm trying to think. I'm not actually in my young 20s. I think the 18 to 25 is like your uni years. You know, you're like, oh, you're still discovering yourself. And even at 25, you can still be in the same thing. But then at least for me, and you guys might be the same, but by 25, I thought I have a bit more things established. And that's when you start to actually question everything you're doing, start to take life a bit more serious, you know? So I think now I'm looking at what I want to accomplish by 30. And that's the thing that I'm kind of scared about. I'm like, am I really going to do it?
Do you reckon, because you did your goal settings from early, now looking at 25, do you think you were over ambitious and has that changed or no? Because you said you've goal set it early and now you're looking at 30.
I started goal setting 2018, so 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I was 19. That's the first time I wrote my 5-year plan and stuff. I don't think it's being... I technically achieved a lot of the stuff that I did. It was finish uni, get married, you know, save certain money. Hajj was one of the goals, but obviously COVID. So I accepted that. It's 2 years of Hajj wasn't really available. Inshallah, the next 2 years I'll go. So it kind of evens out. Money was, I saved the amount I wanted to. One of the goals was a house investment, but I understand. I was 19 at the time. You didn't really understand a lot of the goals you were setting. And now it's you can pretty much pick Hajj or house. Really, unless you have 100K, it's Hajj for 2 people is going to be at least 40K. So you got to kind of pick. But really, the last episode, Muhammad Ishaq, when he said that quote, Imam al-Haddad, the scholar of the past, said, if by the age of 21, you don't have something to brag about, you never will. And when he said that, wallah, it hit me because I have nothing to... I at least feel, what I'm going to say, I have a decent podcast. It's a pretty crap thing to brag about.
Do you reckon it's a perspective thing, though? As in, because to say something to brag about, you could have done a few things where it's it happened so long ago that it's yeah, I did that, and you kind of moved on.
But there's certain things I put, for example, Burak comes in the episode, 21, black belt. We have Hufads, 20 years old, memorize the Quran. Me, for example, I might say I've been to 20 countries. But it's really, you know what I mean? A lot of people have that, what is that really something to brag about? And it's not that you should have the intention to learn things to brag about it, but I feel if I memorized or got a house, that'll at least be something pretty cool. So now it's making me realize at 25, I don't have time to play around anymore. I got to take things more serious.
And you want to look back at things where it's you're at least proud of. It's I did this, I did that, and just
pretty much.
You back yourself.
Environment plays a big part because the people around you might in the early 20s not care about goals and stuff like that. And really, it's a privilege for us to be at 18 thinking about getting a house. Look, we have to be grateful for obviously being in Australia. Alhamdulillah, not really, you don't have to worry about food, shelter, accommodation, university. All these things are pretty normal. We're not in, alhamdulillah, Allah's blessed us with Australia and we have to make the most of it. But I just wanted, looking back at the last 6 years and the amount of free time I had, abundance of opportunities, it's I really want to make sure the next 5-6 years, before 30, I get to accomplish something, to have something to brag about,
So
at least be proud of,
Yeah, when you look back now, for the last 5 years, for example, when it comes to regret, do you think it's because of lack of opportunities or Is it just like lack of immaturity?
Look, I think before, at least me personally, before COVID, you can only do so much. Like, as in, I was 19, I came back, no money in the bank account. You know how it was at uni, you remember? I think COVID was like a year I would have made the most of it, because I was the last year of uni. You remember, together? We were thinking of studying abroad. We had all these plans. Boom, COVID happened. Bruce and I were at uni every day. I remember you came to my office, student union.
Where did you guys want to study abroad?
It's wherever Latrobe had, but Latrobe had a lot around Asia and stuff. But I remember Brewster came
That would have been sick.
because I was the vice president, Latrobe Student Union, so I got an office at uni. Imagine that. Had a nice couch, monitor, TV. I could bring anyone I wanted in. So Brewster was a part of the Islamic side. I said, come to my office. I'm like, bro, this is going to be lit this year. Whenever you want, we got a private area around, right in the hub, the center of the uni. Not some, faraway place. I'm like, this is going to be so hectic. A week later, I think that was O week.
COVID.
Yeah, it was last week of Feb.
Wow.
After that, boom, COVID. I never used the office once. And that would have been the prime year for us to travel, explore, we're working. Like, that's the things we wanted to do. And then after that, we couldn't, I got a full-time job. I was trying to get married. So it was a bit of a different thing. I don't really regret any of it, but it just made me more conscious of the next couple of years. Like, time is going away and life's only going to get harder. So make the most of what's in front of you.
And if you think about it as well, COVID kind of took 2 to 3 years out of our lives as well. Like,
It's a lot.
Early 20s, it's a big thing. But then on the other side of things, like, a lot of people started selling things, and a lot of people actually grew through COVID. So
I know. It's like
it's a bit of a
all
tricky
the business ideas you could have done. The only thing you couldn't do was maybe travel or see your friends as much. But for example, getting your peak body, what's your excuse? You could have ran, trained, and all this stuff. So it's that kind of thing. But really, I'm not going to dwell on the past. Khalas, it happened. Lessons learned. It made me the person I am today. But it's more about making sure the next 5 years I smash it out. How did you guys feel when you turned 25? Was there a shift in mindset?
For me, it was a bit of a wake-up call. Look, I try my best not to compare myself to other people, but then again, the society pressure as well. People in your mid-20s are getting married, as in friends and your surroundings. Some boys are getting married, some boys are starting businesses, and then you kind of question yourself. It's like, where are you at? You're 25, and it's a bit tricky. But for me, look, I don't have many regrets, to be honest with you. Besides the fact that I kind of wasted my time at uni for the first few years. I was all about that social life early on, but then it I kind of woke up once everyone started graduating, everyone started getting jobs, and I was a bit late to the party, but alhamdulillah, eventually everything worked out well. But for me, I'm kind of I'm pretty happy with the way I've gone through my my early 20s. And
Do you have a goal before 30? Is the things that comes to your mind? Because now you've done Hajj. So that's obviously a big thing that people want to do early on if they can. Is there something that you're before 30, I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Or even 35, 40, what's the things that you're just craving to have?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, Hajj was up there for me. And, I had the opportunity to go because my parents went as well. But I don't know. I think it was after COVID when I realized I haven't really traveled much. Well, I was traveling once a year, twice a year. I was going to Thailand and all that stuff for business purposes. But traveling for enjoyment, I wanted to go and watch the Premier League. I wanted to go to England, see the culture there, and just explore different parts of the world. And alhamdulillah, as soon as COVID stopped, I traveled the world. In a year, I traveled to 7 countries. Went to Mecca 3 times. Alhamdulillah, within that year. So
that's amazing in itself, just to say that.
I did a lot in that period, but now it's looking back, it's all right, I got to establish myself as well. There's a lot to think about. Yeah. And then I don't like comparing myself, but I do tend to hang out with people who are older than me. And I see these guys have just started their own businesses and they're doing very well. They've purchased a pharmacy, or have done this or done that. But then I realize they're in their late 30s and they're 40, and it's wait a second, I have time, so I shouldn't panic. But then to get there, I got to start now as well. So I personally feel it's not too late, even when you're in your mid-20s, your late 20s, but the earlier you start, the better. Yeah, and I feel looking back as well, the lack of resources and support that there was back then compared to now is completely different. There's so much resources out there. There's so much support in general compared to back then when I was, for example, when I was in year 12, I had no clue of what I wanted to do, and all our parents, our ethnic parents, just say you got to be a doctor or engineer or this, and I really wasn't interested in that, you know, and we didn't really have that much support around us. But now, like for the youth growing up, they have role models such as older people that have already graduated. There's so many different organizations and stuff that can support them. I just feel like it just depends on the shift in the generation, I guess. Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a eagerness for you to reach that peak? Like, see if something like in your late 30s, like for the success, or you don't mind kind of going through the years, like, because there's like the journey, or just wanting to be at that level? Like, for example, there's certain things I want to do. Like, for example, would you say, like, I want to be a black belt in BJJ? I just want to be a black belt, you know? It's like, but then the Borak goes 10 years. It's like 10 years, 4 days a week. That's his metric to become a black belt. You're like, bro, that's like, you'd rather just have the thing now. Like, I'm eager to get to the finish line, let alone like focus on the journey. Do you think about that, or is it success, like goal oriented, or journey oriented?
I think for me it's more journey, because I really want to enjoy it while I go and take try different new experiences and just really have a crack at things. Like I love to take risk, but I wasn't taking any risk in the last 5 to 10 years.
What do you mean you love to take risks?
No, as in like we're all scared to start a new venture or like travel or to do a certain thing. But I feel like now I want to just, you know, take as much risk as I can and just go through it, I guess.
Yeah, there's some things we've seen. Like, he has taken a lot of risks this year, and it's a good start. And it's actually exciting to see what he's going to do. And it's all in the actions, basically, yeah? Because we see a lot of us as well. We catch ourselves out, you know, we want to do this, we want to do that. We have all these grand ideas. But then we get to the point, the opportunity is there. It's like, oh, the doubt creeps in. You know, one person says this like side comment, like, oh, like they push it aside, they belittle your idea. And that's where the doubt starts to creep in. So it's good to see like these ventures starting, man, that alhamdulillah, like what he's doing, and in the communities, you're starting to see people trying new things. And all it takes sometimes is for one person to try it and be like, actually, that's good. Why not I do my idea finally? So I think it's good. Our community is growing, and in numbers, and that's where sometimes it does help. But then also, someone just needs to pave the way, I guess, to show that's actually possible.
I think you start to realize now that because the community is growing so big, there's kind of a need for more things than you can think. Like we have the Fair Income Athletic crew. We train the brothers once a month. One brother finishes the session. He goes, man, I love this. Like, there should be a, all male gym, And then I was speaking with a brother today at lunch, said the same thing. Like, not that, whoever wants to actually open that up, that's a good venture to have. Inshallah, the Muslims support you. But it's like these type of things 20 years ago weren't an option. But now there's probably demand and enough people to actually have a successful Muslim-only gym, like that's high quality. Yeah, and then, definitely. Your run club, and then whatever it is, like there's all these different things. So.
And like for a lot of these families as well, so I remember talking to a mate, like their parents came to Australia obviously for security, and that was their main purpose. Like for when they come, that's the main focus. That's what they do. Whatever job it is, the money they make. But it's now, alhamdulillah, it's like not everyone, but most people with the second generation where it's like, okay, we have that security, alhamdulillah, from growing up, because in Australia, like we do have that quality of lifestyle where it's like, okay, what else can we do to impact our community and not just help ourselves? Like, start to think like with ambition, start to look at what the community needs, these type of things. And I think it's only just the start, but I think there's a lot of potential.
When I look at that, I don't look at the step number 10. I look at like step number 1. Like, for example, with the gym, I don't think, if I want to open up a gym, I more think, let's do something small first and then like gain experience. Like people say like that your 10th business will be a successful business. Same as like with the Van Club. Like you don't know what it's going to turn into. And that's what I started to realize whenever we have guests on, like Ruben, I think it was Ali Fahur. When he came on, they spoke about their journeys and they're like, Ruben started in wedding photography. And now look what he's doing. Commercials for any company in Australia, like government, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Grand Prix, AFL Grand Final. Like he'd be there. He's the man for that. But he started in wedding photography. You don't know what step 10 is going to be. Like us, we didn't think we're going to be running that thing we want to do in a couple months. It's like, damn, like these things, this is just podcast, to workout crew, your running crew. And then it's like, boom, now you're going to hold the charity event for your half marathon. and it's like then you might run an event in April. Like these are step 4, 5 in your long journey, but you can't plan that early on.
Yeah.
It's like the saying, be the change you want to see in the world, yeah?
No,
I'll be honest with you, like,
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like, in our community, everyone's just scared to either start something or, like, to pave the way for someone because they fear backlash or they fear that they won't succeed, you know? And it's our responsibility, technically, us, like, especially, for example, like ourselves, to be role models for the younger generation, for our community in general. If you have a platform, it's your responsibility to at least try and create something, you know, to pave the way for others and to just create that community environment. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know, because when I hear the word role model, I like want to run away from that position. That's the only thing. Like I know what you mean, but just the idea like being a role model, like until I'm established like with those credentials, which you might not even need to be a role model. It's and I feel like it shouldn't be something you yearn for, like you desire. I don't know, are you the same way? Like
for me, I've started to, because I agree 100% with Barisa. Like people, I include myself as well. Like it's a battle you still deal with internally, where it's like you do care about like people's opinions, or like, you know, you failing and people's opinions of how you look when you fail. Like it's going to look like, oh, you failed so many things, you know, this guy's not doing things well, you know, blah blah blah. We're a bit emotional, I think, in that sort of sense. But in terms of the role models, I like to look at it more through my actions, like what I'm doing, like the run clubs or like the event I've told you about that I want to do, and inshallah at the end of the year as well. And just by showing what I'm doing, people maybe get inspired, inshallah. Because if you do start to look to, I want to be a role model, I want to be a role model, I want people to look at me, it can play with your nafs, your intentions naturally as well. So I think maybe the way you word it as well, but it is a difficult thing to distinguish.
Okay, what's your event in the run club? What's this kind of thing? Early hours?
So I started this run, yesterday was it?
I'm brand new.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday, official, yeah? So
Baby was born. You called it your baby on your story.
It's my baby, man.
It's turning into Wali.
So I made a WhatsApp chat like 2 weeks ago from my personal account. And I'm just like, if you boys want to join for like a run, I want to pray at the mosque, Fajr at the mosque. I want to go for a run, like just an easy run, whatever it is. And then go for some coffee or like breakfast. This is what, like, it's quite common now in Australian culture. We see it around Melbourne especially. And I thought to myself, like, why can't we do, like, I remember mentioning that it is foreign, running in general. So the idea of going for runs for no purpose, like, usually when you go for runs, it's like sport purpose. You're trying to get fitter, you know, for like professional level. But there's no purpose of just going for runs as like, you know, an interest or just to stay fit in general. I think it's quite uncommon in our culture. So I think over time it'll start to become more normal because people see the physical benefits and mental. And obviously, what's better than praying Fajr at the mosque first and then doing that? And we're talking about like the ideal day, the ideal week you would want to have. And if money wasn't an option, how would your ideal week or day look like? And for me, I had to ask myself that, which isn't easy. It sounds like a grand concept, but when you actually think about it, you start from the start, of course. You think about Fajr at the mosque, of course, is ideal. Why can't it be? And then after that, for me personally, from other experiences, other days I've done it, is moving the body, whether it's gym, running. And for me personally, running is something I want to get into. I'm still a beginner at running. I do see a lot of mental and physical benefits to it, so it's something I do want to challenge myself more with. And I just tied in the two with, I guess, coffee, I don't know, breakfast, just maybe get a chance to meet people at the same time as well, connect people, networking. I think it's another opportunity for more people to network, not just from, you know, having these network just dinners where it's like you're doing it through the sport, doing it through physical activity, where it's like, I already understand you a bit because we have a similar mindset. I'm willing to get up to pray Fajr at the mosque. I'm willing to go for a run at 6 a.m. And it's like straight away you have that mutual interest.
With starting a run club, why didn't you wait until like you complete a half marathon or complete a marathon? Like until technically you become an established runner.
I've thought about that.
Because like the workout crew, imagine starting the workout crew and we don't lift. You know what I mean? Like we're pretty decent lifters. Like all the boys that train with us, they know. Like, you know what I mean? They know our level. we can run sessions and we should run sessions. Like that's the way we train. But then for running, you're saying people are coming on the runs and they're better runners than you. So what made you want to start that? Like, is it because you already have the Fed income? You're like, let's do it.
I wanted to shift the perspective of how it's looked at. So I'm telling people, and how I did start 2 weeks ago, the first weekend, was I'm going to do this. Come join me if you want. I'll make a group chat just to send details. And that's why I want to continue as, because like I said before, running is not common in our culture. So I want people to see that I'm not good at running. And I know for a fact in how many months it's going to be that I'm going to be a lot better runner. And people are going to see that difference and realize, okay, I can do that as well. I can start from zero and run a marathon.
That's the goal, run a marathon?
Yeah, this year run a marathon, inshallah, at the end of the year. So I want people to see that, whether they join now, whether they join after I do the marathon, because they'll see the proof. Then they believe, okay, I can actually start from zero. I don't have to be good at this. Because, yeah, I think a lot of people think, if I'm going to rock up to a run club, I have to be good. If I'm a beginner, I'm not going to look good. People are going to think I'm unfit or, be
Do you
heavy.
know who it normally hits the most? The guy that joins the group and then you go, my first one's 2K, and he goes, oh man, like, I'm at the same level. And then 6 months later, you run a marathon and he's still running 2K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you see that, you're like, damn, man, I played myself.
Like my first...
Those moments, man, they hurt.
Yeah, definitely,
they
definitely.
Hurt.
Because you think, damn, like all I had to do was stay consistent.
It happens with archery. Because I started archery last year after Ramadan, May. So technically like 9 months. Like I did a foundations 3 weeks. That's all I've done. 3 weeks course. I go on that archery camp 2 weeks ago. Brothers that are in the advanced class. When did you start? September, October, August.
Wow.
You're in the advanced. I'm in the beginner, bro. I did 3 lessons. They're like, yeah, I just come once a week from September. Nothing special. Like, but 6 months of disciplined work gets you, obviously, like you said, to a marathon level or in the advanced class. Then I'm like, damn, man. And now I'm leaving in who knows how long. It's like I'm not going to have enough time to reach the advance. And then you miss out on that opportunity.
It's true. And like what a lot of people actually don't know, the first run I did the first weekend, there was about like 6 brothers with me and I was getting shin splints. So we only ran about 3Ks, which to be honest, is not much. And it was at a slow pace, but I was getting shin splints where it's like my shins were screaming at me, like it was painful. And I was thinking to myself, like, how am I going to do this run club if I'm getting shin splints from just like a short run? And now I did like 3 days ago, 12Ks. So I'm already seeing the like huge differences, and it's just from consistency. It's just showing up, repetition, your body adapts, the human body is crazy.
When you finished 12, did you think, how the hell am I going to do a marathon? Because it's like 3.5, whatever, 4 times the amount. How many Ks is a marathon? 43 or something?
42.
42. You did 12, so whatever, 3 and a bit times that. Did you think, I can't do this times 2 over and, 2.5 times?
No, I'm not thinking about that. That's why. That's the dangerous thing, yeah? Even like the 12Ks, if I was always thinking about the 12Ks when I was running, which I did, but then I minimized it, then I would have killed myself mentally. So running is like you literally have to focus, you have to be present. Because if you're not, you're just going to think about your shins, you're going to think about your knees starts to hurt, your hips.
So present in what there?
Present in like exactly the case, because I keep looking at my watch as well, like the distance I'm at, or maybe the part of the.
But if you look at the distance, like for example, you look and it goes 3K, and then it goes 3.1, and you look and it goes 3.4. Wouldn't you be thinking, I'll just finish at 4? Well,
that's one thing why I started the club as well, where it's like accountability, exactly. First for showing up, I have to show up to Fajr at the mosque, which is amazing, and then also showing up to the run and doing it, whatever the case I said I'm going to do. And also the brothers that come with me, alhamdulillah, they're better runners than me. So then it keeps me accountable and I have to keep up with them.
I think that helps a lot. Like if you had beginners, everyone beginners for a long 12K run, everyone's like, I've never ran 12Ks. You might have to push them. Where instead, the people you're technically like bringing along are pushing you, which is a blessing.
Alhamdulillah, man. It's good. And even with the marathon like outlook, that's why I'm doing this pre-Ramadan event of like running half marathon, where it's like I'm pacing myself. It's like I'm ticking off certain goals. And then, so 12Ks is the most I've done till today, yeah? I do the half marathon. It's like, okay, I've done a half marathon. I can do a marathon. I can work towards it. It's like that belief system, 10K, 12K, half marathon. who knows after that, like that type of thing.
Is it going to
You know
just
what I
be just a regular joining type of event, or is it like a
Yeah. So
Well,
at
Where
the
do you
moment,
want to do it?
fundraiser?
So yeah,
what is it? The
where do you want to do
event.
it?
So we're doing Coburg Lake to Albert Park.
Okay, is that 21 Ks? Like what
So
is it?
our Coburg Lake, I think it's one lap, and then we head off, and then go Albert Park 1 lap. 21.
What happens if like there's 30 people? Is this okay to run on the roads and stuff?
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Is there like a trail?
Yeah, basically, or main road or like footpath. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
It's
So
a work in progress.
And
'Cause
about
what if there's 50 or 70 people?
yeah,
like
it's a
you,
good point.
you might have to
One of my students wants to join. He's a runner,
see
Spanish guy. Yeah.
plan for it, bro.
Yeah, true. Because and so even with these things of like creating the run club, doing this event, which by now should be posted with this episode, I don't know what's gonna happen next, but that's the beauty in it, I guess, as well, where it's like Bismillah, take the leap of faith. We'll see how it goes. This guy's gonna be recording it, inshallah, on the
They're
day.
doing it.
You
I'm
can do
thinking
both.
we might get like an electrical scooter
Yeah,
and
yeah. might do that.
and a gimbal, and
The gym can do that, yeah.
and next minute will fall into the river. Nah, it should be good, inshallah.
Yeah. So with these things, I'm just doing it, making it happen, and then see what happens next, inshallah.
Mm. And that marathon is your MISOGI of the year, 2024.
Full marathon, yeah, it is. Yeah. Can you define what it is? Because a lot of people, I think, listening to this don't know what it is.
MISOGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to watch Jesse Itzler, yeah? There's this guy, what's it called? His name's Jesse Itzler. He talks a lot about goal setting. He has a couple different, he's been on Joe Rogan, but he uses the word MISOGI. He makes it's a popular term now. It's your year defining event. So when you look back on certain years, 2015, 16, 17, there's normally certain things like, for example, me, 2016, I finished school. 2017, I went to Jordan. Or 2019, I tore my ACL. Like different things, you have memories just on life. It's nice to have something to look back on. But he makes, because some things are just a part of life. Like I said, ACL, you go on a holiday. Those are just things you're going to do anyway. But he likes to have a MISOGI, which is 1 day a year where you physically challenge yourself. You push your maxes, or you reach your goal. It's like, in 2024, I ran my first marathon. That's what Ali's going to say. In 2025, I ran my first Ironman. And then you have these, whatever you pick or you do, you bench a certain number, you squat a certain number. Like it's these year-defining moments that you do. So it's obviously good to have a goal for a day or a weekend. Mine's the Spartan race.
Still is? Oh, no. Still thinking about it, yeah?
Maybe half marathon. Look, the goal is a marathon, but I'm not into running like you. Like, obviously, it'll be nice to do a marathon, like it'll like a life accomplishment.
Yeah.
But in my yearly planning, like a month ago, I wasn't thinking of, I really want to do a marathon this year because I'm traveling and stuff.
Half marathon's good if you join us.
Your
I think
goals
it's a
can
good
change, man.
Yeah.
I really wrote my goals for like the first 5 months after I'm traveling, and it's different goals then. So I said, khalas, in the first 5 months, that's what I want to do, and that's the things you can control. Because I knew the next 5 months might change and holidays, and so Spartan race I think would be pretty good.
For those who don't know, can you define what a Spartan race
Bloody
is?
hell, I'm just defining everything. It's there's different ones: 5, 10, half marathon, and full marathon. Instead of just running straight, because you can build consistency, like Ali said, you can talk, distract yourself. This has obstacles on the way. So 10 kilometers, the one inshallah I want to do, has like 20 obstacles. So maybe each 500 meters, you got to carry something, lift something, climb up a wall, do something intense. Like take 1 or 2 minutes, and it'll be physically exerting. And that changes your momentum, which makes it more of a challenge. Because running, eventually you just keep flow state. You're chatting with your brother on a marathon. You run 10 Ks and you're like, yeah, that's 50 minutes, boom. So this has the obstacles. I've never ran 10 Ks before. So it's a bit of a different test. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I thought it'd be cooler because I like that type of challenge more than running, because running gets boring.
We can't undermine that. 10K Spartan race is going to be tough, man.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
So it's actually a big challenge. So it still should be.
We'll do an episode on that when if we complete it, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah.
Pre-Spartan race, yeah.
Post-Spartan race.
Or post, yeah.
Yeah, inshallah.
It's exciting with these type of things, like, you being taking the first step of these type of things, just like making it happen. Because I feel like going back to the 25, being the late 20s, I think one thing is like taking that first step of doing things, or obviously so many things happen in the past for you to get to this point, to like mentally to think like this. So you like having regrets, you weren't thinking the same back then. So you can't really be that realistic with, you know, oh, I should have done this, should have done that, because you didn't think the same. You weren't the same person. So I think it's a big shift when it comes to late 20s. You know, you start to think about, you become a bit more serious because you see the people around you, not just yourself, changing, and that just wakes you up. It's like a sign. It's like, okay, maybe I should, because naturally we do compare ourselves, even though we shouldn't, but we do. But
I just feel like sometimes I'm just wasting so much time. Like, I don't even waste that much, but like Instagram for an hour, you know, like I'm just thinking like, man, I'm wasting, you know.
I think focus, man. Focus is the number one thing that will change everything for all of us. I struggle as well, man. I sit there and I'm scrolling. It's like, what the hell am I doing? So these type of things, I think just figuring out that one change is gonna help you towards, like, you know, with your goals and making sure you're
even
in
this
check.
year, normally I have my goals and I have 10 goals throughout the year, or even like targets, like finish 20 books and save this amount of money, which are just targets. But this year I'm like, nah, khalas, I'm gonna have 3 goals, and these are my biggest priorities. Like, for example, one, religious, like, for example, memorize a certain amount of surahs. Second one can be health, you know, run a marathon, whatever. And then third is just something else anyway. Yeah, private. So that's that's the 3 goals instead of 10. And then, man, like, when it's 3 and life gets busy, sometimes you don't prioritize it because there's other things on the list. Like, for example, I'll go gym. Gym isn't even on the list because my goal is to run a marathon, which is running. It's different than gym, but I'll go gym 6 days a week. And then, you know, I'll read. And reading isn't bad, but reading isn't as important as memorizing, because memorizing is the goal.
Yeah.
Reading is like it's a good habit to have on the side. And then you would do all these things that are productive and important and good habits, but it's really not as productive and not the most important task or thing you should be doing. And that's what I find so much. Like, I'm doing these, going gym 5-6 days and reading, but I'm not memorizing and I'm not improving my cardio, which is the running goal.
Yeah. But should you be going 5 days a week then? Like, that's the question. It's hard because, like, I've noticed myself as well, like with the reading, or I don't go to gym as much now because it's not the goal. In the past, I was going and I was telling myself subconsciously, I want to get into running. But it's like, you're making the time for gym instead. Why?
It comes back to priorities as well, man. Because, like, are you wanting to be a full-time athlete? Are you playing for a football club or whatever? Like, do you need to go to the gym 5 days a week? You got to ask yourself these questions.
I think it's easier to do and you feel productive.
Yeah,
like me reading, open up a book, read 10 pages, I feel productive, and it's the easier thing to do. But memorizing is hard. Learning a language is hard. And that's where I should be putting my energy. But because there's more friction, you don't do it. And that's where focus comes in. And then I'm like, man, it's been a month I haven't memorized anything. Why am I wasting an hour on Instagram? And then these type of things, you know, which is the worst situation to put yourself in, because you put yourself down and it's harder to get back up. And then you start deeping it and you're like, man, I could have done this. I could have memorized the juz in the last month. And then you overthink about just going back to a 5-minute habit. Like, man, I used to memorize for an hour a day. Now you're telling me just do 5 minutes? I'm not doing that. I want to do an hour. And you go too hard and you go back down.
Yeah. So, like, all right, we spoke about reflection. So now moving forward, like, for the next 5 years, all right, reaching into our 30s, early 30s, what are your main objectives or like goals that you would want to achieve? Like, obviously don't get too specific, but things that you would...
Yeah, if you have a podcast, I think you can be a bit open. You kind of just have to be.
Yeah.
You can't keep there's certain obviously things you should keep private, but I can say generally, like, before 30, you said?
Yeah.
Or just...
Say next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. I think next 4 or 5 years, it'll be good for me. I want to hit peak health. Obviously, that's not a descriptive thing, but I really want to be in the best physical health I've ever been in. And right now, I don't feel like I am. So inshallah, the next 5 years. Another intention, realistically, when you write it down on a piece of paper, it's achievable in 5 years. Because, for example, me, I want to memorize the Quran. Inshallah, that's the intention of mine for life. I think every Muslim should have the intention to memorize the Quran, because even if it doesn't happen, the reward will be with Allah. And when you look at a 5-year plan, it's like, even if you memorize 30 juz, 6 juz a year, it's 120 pages. So it's like, it's each 3 days you memorize a page. It's like 4 lines a day. Like, when you break it down, it's like, that's achievable in 5 years.
Yeah.
I most likely won't memorize the Quran in 5 years, but the goal would be, inshallah, to become a hafiz, as soon as possible, as soon as I can. So that's one major goal. I think I broke down my goals into periods of life.
Yep.
So like before 30, for example, become a hafiz. Yeah, 30 to 40, we'll say they become a black belt in BJJ. Then 40 to 50, you learn a language, whatever. Like I broke down, I did different things. I have a lot of goals, bro.
Yeah, because it's making the most of where you're at now.
Mm.
Because you look at things like learn a language, for example. Yeah, I did it, whatever. But it's like, what can I do for example, in your 40s and 50s that you can't do now?
Yeah.
Run a marathon, I don't know, for example. Where it's like, identifying these things and honing in on that. Where it's like making the most of your time now, your age, your health, getting peak health. You might look at it at a certain age, I want to go at peak health, but I should have done it then. Because maybe it's just not the same, things happen, injuries, whatever. But it's just like accepting where you are and making the most of it.
Speak to people, man. I have so many friends who are in their 30s, and they tell me, bro, once you reach 30, it's like you can't play soccer anymore without getting injured. Like you're getting a new joint injury or this or that every week,
Sure.
Yeah. So it's like really look into your 30s and say, all right, what are things that I can do now that weren't.
I think sustaining peak health is easier than achieving it. But for me, like before 30, I think Quran and Arabic will be a good focus. Then after that, you can prioritize other things. Like you have those periods of life. But sometimes when something's so vague or so big, you just delay it. Like if I look back, since I came back from overseas and studied Arabic, my Arabic hasn't gotten better, really. And it's been 5 years.
Same, yeah.
Hasn't really gotten better. And if it has, it's percentages. It's not like I went up a level. That's 5 years. Imagine you did one word a day. 2,000 more words, whatever it is. So now just Bismillah, Quran and Arabic, and then next period I'll do other things. Have you guys thought about that as well before 30?
5 years?
5 years?
Not
You can't ask the question
much,
and not answer.
Come on, Ali.
And
No,
not,
he wants to go first.
Not as much as I should. Because in a way where it's like, you think about the 5 year period and you can think of, there's the one side, yeah? You think of grand ideas. But then it's like, can I do that? Can I really do that? Or am I not thinking big enough? Because 5 years is a bloody long time, obviously. You could do so much. But I'll stick with 30 because then it's like a few. For me, it's mainly around Arabic studies and Ironman, basically.
You want to clear Ironman?
Yeah,
Is that a goal one day?
Definitely, inshallah, I will.
In Australia?
To me, that's not a goal because I can't swim like that. Like the idea of swimming a kilometer is like.
I will become like that.
Oh,
I like that mentality.
Did you hear that? That was like a.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time, inshallah.
I rate that.
Yeah,
Say it again to me.
I believe it. I can see it. I can see the vision. So that's one
You
thing.
eat
Where it's
Nutrigrain
like,
every day?
I will now, huh?
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so these are like only those type of goals I've thought of. I haven't thought maybe the type of person I want to be in terms of like the lifestyle, the habits, time management. I guess that thing also fluctuates in a way because these things that arise in your life that maybe you don't expect, new chapters as well. So I would say mostly those two goals are the priority because it's a few years from now. So it's a bit more realistic. Whereas 5 years, it seems so far away that it's like, how do I even manage? How do I even calculate it? Because I remember we did the 1 day course, yeah? We did the 5 years and he broke it down to 3 years, 1 year, 6 months. And it's hard, man, because, you sit with yourself and you're just thinking, can I really do this? Like, this is where the doubt creeps in because you're thinking big, you're writing it down, but it's like, when you break it down, that's where it gets serious because it's like, how can I actually do this? How can I actually become a hafiz, like memorize the Quran? How can I actually become fluent in Arabic?
I think we also undervalue like how much you can actually achieve in 5 years. Like we don't understand because we've never done 5 years of discipline and focused towards a goal. We don't understand what you can achieve in 5 years. So we look like, for example, you say Ironman, like you can do that in maybe a year of training. Like people probably, or even 2 years. Like it's not a 5 year goal. Like really, same as Arabic and Quran, depending on where you're at, could be really a 2 year like of discipline and focus. But we don't understand that, so it's like we delay goals and give ourselves more time because we don't understand how long it actually takes.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit of fear as well.
Yeah.
And doubt.
I don't think well, maybe for myself, but I don't think enough of us maybe sit down with these thoughts and think about like, what can I actually do in this much time? You know, the impact you can make.
The tough thing is for me, like, I don't have a lot of people I can look up to that are doing similar things. Like, for example, some guy that's 40 and he goes, man, I remember when I was your age, like, for example, making videos, or I know him, he goes, like, I was 25 and I'm like, man, like, I want to memorize the Quran. So I went and did it. It took me 5 years. And then at 30, I went and did this. Like, there is obviously people like that, but I don't know them because a lot of them, like, they keep to themselves, which isn't an issue. But then for people like us that want to resonate, take from them, take lessons, we don't know them, you know? And that's why, like, on the podcast, we meet so many people that are experts in their field. There isn't anything wrong with it. They're experts. But for us, I think we want to be very good at a lot of fields instead of experts at one, because we haven't found, like, our life purpose in BJJ, like Burak. We just want to be good at wrestling. You know, archery. We just want to be good at archery. We don't want to run an archery club. Like, it's different for us compared to other people. And that's where we don't find that person that's really good at a lot of things and can kind of give us guidance.
Yeah. There'll come a time for us as well, like, where it's like, there'll be a year when you do, for example, maybe you go overseas or whatever it is, where it's like Quran, Arabic, like there's nothing else going on. That's your number one focus. Like, I think there's time and place for these type of goals, specific goals, where you get the opportunity arises where it's like, I can go 100% in this goal and not worry too much about the others. But then now, because honestly, like, us thinking like this, it's quite rare to hear people our age thinking like this.
Look,
I think maybe also as well, like, looking at more than one like you said, looking at more than one aspect, it's not a common thing. Maybe
I think when I was saying the guidance, like, sometimes you don't need the guidance. You already know what you need to do. And that's just an excuse. Like, you want to meet someone that's done it. It's like, what does that change?
why can't you?
Yeah. So that maybe it's just an excuse I'm making one thing. But I think, you know, the thing about people not wanting this stuff, I think in their early 20s, a couple years ago, we could say that about boys in the community. Like, they don't have these high aspirations, stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure now people are realizing, like, hey, you know, I should have done more. Let me do more now. Like, early 20s, people are just kicking back. I think now late 20s, people are switching. We've got to give credit, mashallah, the Muslim community, we're doing well.
It has, alhamdulillah.
But no one's doing as well as Barisa. So let's tell us your goals, bro. So shine away there.
I'm the same, to be honest with you.
You're gonna copy me or Ali then?
You.
Same. Mashallah.
For me, it's just like I'm in the
look up to
same
me?
boat as him, huh? in a way, yes. I look up to everyone.
Joking, am I that much taller than you? Is that why?
I'm actually taller than you.
You sure?
I'm taller than him. I am.
How tall are you?
I'm 178, 179.
I'm 6 foot.
Centimeters?
I'm 6 foot.
I don't go by foot, bro. That's.
I'm 183, 6 foot.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see later.
Yeah.
We'll see. Me? No. I said I'm 170, 178 centimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the same frame as this guy because we got like a couple more years till we're 30. SubhanAllah. Time flies, yeah?
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
It's crazy. Yeah.
You look stressed. Nothing wrong with that, bro.
I am stressed now. I'm joking. For me, it's just increasing knowledge. Obviously, knowledge is... There's a lot behind it. But for me, like, the way I see things is, all right, in this next phase of my life, inshallah, I'll meet someone, get married, have kids, you know? And then I'm like, going back to that whole role model thing, I need to know to a certain standard so that I can teach my kids as well. So that's very important because what I see in the community nowadays is a lot of parents are pushing their kids towards classes and to different teachers and stuff. But like, we have the ability to teach our own kids as well. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's wrong to send them externally out, but it's our responsibility as well to teach them, you know, to a certain level of, for example, the Quran, or teaching them Arabic or certain things. So for me, it's just increasing my knowledge. Obviously, I want to become a Hafiz as well, but I won't put a time frame on it, but I really want to increase in my effort in trying to become a Hafiz in the next 5 years, inshallah. That's one of my biggest goals. Learning Arabic. I've said I wanted to learn like 5 languages by this age, and it's not.
You know,
it's not
looking bad. Good. Last year, I'm pretty sure in January when we both traveled, you went to Morocco and stuff.
Yeah.
And you came back, you're like, bro, I want to learn French and Arabic, and I said, let's do start or whatever. Now I'm like, bro, it's been a year, And I don't know about you, but I haven't leveled up. And I'm like, damn, like a year. You remember how excited you were? And I
Exactly.
was thinking back on that moment. I'm like, poor man.
I remember the first episode I done actually. I'm like, I want to learn French. I want to learn Moroccan Darija. I want to learn Arabic. And subhanAllah, I haven't even cracked one of them yet.
Yeah.
So it's a bit embarrassing, but look, it's still an interest of mine. I really want to learn one of the big languages like French, for example, because you can speak French technically, not everywhere, but like if you go all around Africa.
A lot of Muslims as
North
well.
Africa as
You'll
well.
you'll meet someone that it's a universal language.
Exactly. So that's one of my goals as well, to learn a few languages heading into my 30s. And yeah, just I guess, look, I don't like saying this, but I'm tired of working 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever you're going to call it. I feel like it's time to kind of look into opportunities where you can work for yourself, and that's really important. I feel like a lot of people are comfortable in the 9 to 5, and I don't blame them, but I feel like if you want comfortability and like if you want to really enjoy your life, you just got to do something for yourself, something that you enjoy, something that you want to wake up and just like doing without being forced to what's it called?
Work
I
for
think
I
someone
lost my
else.
words.
But to be honest, I think
Work to a certain standard,
it just doesn't fit your values and your life goals. Because there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. For a lot of people, it gives them structure. They find a good company. It works along with their mission and their goal in life, like their passion. Why are you going to deny someone passion for them to start a business when 95% of small businesses fail? True. And
It's true.
especially if they're super happy. If someone's happy with what they're doing, we really can't say much. But for the guy that's working 9 to 5 and hating it and goes, I don't want to be an entrepreneur, I don't want to be this, that, then the blame is on you if you don't want to take action.
That's
We can't force people to, leave the 9 to 5 when they're happy. True.
Mm.
Yeah, it's true. Like, alhamdulillah, I'm working a good 9 to 5 job at the moment, but like, you want to eventually like have more time to yourself as well, and you want to learn as you go as well. So that's one thing that I'm looking into, inshallah. That's why I started my own visuals page or visuals type of business, which what?
Yeah.
We'll continue from there. Yeah, that's why I started Barisa Visuals. It's my own visuals type of media photography. I have interest in photography media. I've been doing for many years, but it's time to step out there. As you can see, there's so many content creators out there doing their own thing, and one unique field that I've kind of entered now that not many people are doing within our community is FPV drones. It's first point of view, so it's hectic. You got to just get into it because I get to spend time by myself, and I get to really see nature firsthand. So that's one thing I'm looking into, and inshallah, people will see more content in regards to that over the next couple of months. But yeah, just inshallah, if I can get into that field, it'll be good. And yeah, I guess just go with the flow. I feel like I've traveled to a certain level of what's it called. I've had goals I've had travel goals, but
You've accomplished them.
yeah, I think I'm done with traveling after this year, inshallah. But yeah, I think that's enough for me. Yeah,
Damn.
you put me on the spot.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's good. We want to
Yeah.
hear the stuff you're doing. That's why it's amazing
Yeah.
to see what you're doing.
And the good thing about being on the spot is sometimes when you have too much time to think, you'll change your answer. So now you're being
that's true.
honest. And that's really the goal for anyone that's, thinking about the goals. Like now Ramadan's a month away. This is literally like your reality checks. Okay, let me either get my life in check for Ramadan to make the most of it or just the rest of the year. It's a good kind of thing. And that's why we wanted to do this episode, just
Yeah,
to kind of speak about that. Even us, we don't get to see each other a lot. So even just for me I didn't know this guy's goal is half or full marathon. He's MISOGI. I didn't know Ironman. Didn't know about Barisa Visuals. What? No, I didn't say that.
Village, come on, bro.
Yeah, I didn't say village. We'll see. But I didn't know how important it was to you. So it's actually very good to see.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. But yeah, flowers to this guy. I'll be honest with you. We had a chat a couple of months ago in regards to short-term goals, and we spoke about the running club and just creating an environment and a community. And subhanallah, he's got it up and running. And Ali, tell him how many people rocked up to the first session.
The running? Oh, 0.
No one rocked
bro.
up. Can you imagine? And then he turned around.
And I did see the video on the other day when he was running up and down this random thing in Roxy. It's like 20 brothers running
Yeah.
up and down.
Subhanallah. So
That drone shot.
It just shows,
Inshallah,
the fitting can work out,
Yeah, but it's good. Like, obviously now, like this part of like, late 20s is the difference where you start to think more about now, but you're thinking about 5 years time, Barisa. The life you're living, the people that's going to be around you, whether it's like starting a family or not, but it's like how you're spending your time. You think about how your future self, like 5 year self, will thank yourself now.
exactly, yeah, I agree.
So then the steps you're doing and taking, and the habits you're building, how you're spending your time, your future self will thank you. So I think just thinking like that, which I have as well, and I think everyone listening to this should. I think even just the smallest change, you think about it in 5 years' time. Don't just think about it for next week or next month. It will compound.
Right, done. Yalla, go pray Maghrib. Wrap it up here.
Done, inshallah.
Inshallah. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you, Barisa, very much for jumping on the couch when Sahel and Legendary are out of town and busy. So, claps to Barisa. Jazakallah khairan. Came in clutch. He's the only one repping Fair Income merch as well. So, thanks again for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week.